Welcome to a deep dive into the really powerful and, let's say, often provocative words of Julius Malema.
Leader of South Africa's economic freedom fighters, the EFF, a very prominent figure.
Absolutely. And today we're going to unpack a recent speech he gave. It was at a rally themed Fearless Speech. Malema joins Traoré to fight imperialism.
Right, and that's likely referring to Ibrahim Traoré in Burkina Faso, who's got a similar anti-imperialist stance.
Exactly. Our source for this is excerpts from a transcript. It's from a YouTube video channel called About Africa.
So our mission today really is to cut through some of the rhetoric, maybe get to the core arguments.
Yeah, what are the demands? What's the vision here for Africa and maybe beyond?
We want to explore those calls for unity, his take on global stuff, and the direction of the EFF movement.
Okay, let's dig in. So right at the heart of this speech, Malema lays out this fundamental belief. It's really powerful.
Okay.
That Africa is one people. Simple as that. He says countries like Zimbabwe, Mozambique, DRC, Botswana, they're all our home.
And what's interesting is how he immediately links that idea, that unity, to the colonial past.
How so?
Well, he says, point blank, these current borders, they were imposed on us by the colonizers.
Okay.
He argues, that Africans never said we want borders.
Yeah.
So it frames the whole unity discussion as pushing back against that legacy.
Right. It makes the call for a borderless continent feel like reclaiming something.
Exactly. It's a direct challenge.
So building on that, he makes this really direct appeal, doesn't he?
Yeah, very urgent.
He tells people, stop xenophobia, stop self-hate. He says, see yourself in a Zimbabwean or a Mozambican. He uses the term Muzak sometimes.
Because that's who you are.
Right. And it's bigger than just South Africa. He says the struggle is to liberate the whole of Africa.
In connecting that bigger picture, this unity idea flows right into a really key demand he makes. It's sort of the linchpin for liberation in his view.
Which is about the resources.
Exactly, that the resources of Africa must benefit the people of Africa.
Not the West, not the East.
Not anyone from outside Africa, basically.
Yeah.
And what's insightful here isn't just, challenging outsiders. It's how he ties that economic control to Africa's identity, its self-worth.
So without controlling the wealth, Africa can't truly be free, can't stand on its own.
That's the argument, yeah.
It's a powerful idea. The goal, he says, is for Africa to one day realize its own freedom, to stand on its own feet.
And declare, I own my minerals, I own everything that belongs to this continent.
It's a complete rejection of colonialism, imperialism, a demand for total autonomy.
Politically and economically.
Yeah.
And, this isn't just talk. It becomes a practical promise, too.
What do you mean?
He commits to defend the Zimbabweans and defend Africans in our townships. Why? Because we are one thing.
So it's Pan-African solidarity in action, real-world protection.
That's the idea. Protecting fellow Africans wherever they are on the continent.
Okay, so from that continent-wide vision, the speech then kind of zooms out, right?
Yeah, it broadens considerably. He tells listeners, don't be too local, be international.
Because we are existing in a globe, we do not exist in isolation. He really thinks African struggles and global struggles are connected.
Definitely. Which, raises the question, what specific international issues does he bring up?
Okay, let's look at those. Starting close by with Zimbabwe, he demands that President Mnangagwa, he calls him Manganga, that he must respect democracy. And he defines that not just as elections, but as human rights. He criticizes beating people, shutting down the internet, social media, just because you disagree. He's clear. Don't want that type of government in Zimbabwe.
Okay. Then he touches on the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yeah, expresses hope that the people there must find a permanent solution.
And again, you see that theme of self-determination.
Yeah.
Solutions for Africa coming from Africans.
Definitely. He also talks about Western Sahara, demands the people get their land back.
And Palestine.
A very strong stance there. Calls for freedom from apartheid Israel, which stole the land of the Palestinians.
Then his focus shifts again, this time to Cuba.
Right. Demands freedom of the people of Cuba. And he gives a reason. He says, they've done so much for us as the people of South Africa.
Linking their suffering to South Africa's, the suffering of the Cubans, it's our suffering.
That's a really interesting connection he makes, highlighting that historical solidarity from the anti-apartheid era, Cuba's support back then.
It's a powerful acknowledgement, yeah.
And he doesn't stop there. He talks about Africans abroad in the diaspora.
Facing challenges elsewhere.
Yeah, being harassed, having, quote, no right in America. He specifically claims Donald Trump hates Africans.
Wow.
So it's a plea to protect one another, extending that Pan-African idea globally, especially for those facing difficulties overseas.
Okay, so let's transition then from the international stage back to domestic politics in South Africa. The speech gives us some fascinating insights into the EFF's strategy, especially now, with things being so complex politically.
What stands out first?
Well, one thing is the really explicit rejection of violence in elections.
He's emphatic about that. I don't want to see a drop of blood.
Yeah, let's not kill each other because of elections. He insists must not be violence anywhere.
And he tells supporters, let people campaign freely, welcome them, educate them.
Don't beat them up. Don't disrupt their meetings.
So how does he position the EFF's approach then, if not through confrontation?
He uses this phrase, we lead through superior logic.
Superior logic, okay.
But he clarifies it immediately. It doesn't mean we are cowards. We are not cowards. He says if a fight comes, they'll fight, but...
we are not going to start any fight.
Right. It's clever positioning, isn't it? Strong, ready, but committed to the democratic process. Persuasion over violence.
So the path to power, according to him...
it's very clear. Only a cross will make the EFF a government, meaning a vote.
a vote, okay.
He says, we need a powerful cross, a red cross to govern this country. Not war, not blood. It's firmly rooted in the electoral system.
But, and this is where it gets kind of interesting,
Yeah.
despite those clear calls for peaceful elections, he uses some really strong, almost military language when he talks about their activists, their ground force.
Ah, yes. The rhetoric shifts.
He tells them, let us go to war. Let us arm ourselves. Now we're ready for war.
Which sounds like a direct contradiction.
Well, it seems like a rhetorical war for votes, right? Not literal fighting, but it's still striking language.
It is. There's a real tension there. Advocating democracy, but using battlefield language to motivate the base. It shows how high he sees the stakes.
Yeah, that tightrope walk is fascinating. He tells the ground force, fight us every Friday, we wear red until the elections. The message is, the solution is in the red.
And how does he describe this ground force?
As a fearless fighter, a hardworking fighter, someone who will never sleep without doing something for the EFF.
And their tactics.
Going door to door, person to person, street by street, factory by factory, university by university, school by school, talking to people.
Grassroots mobilization.
Exactly. And he claims their manifesto has got solution to everything. It's a call for relentless, organized action.
Okay, so moving on to his stance on the ANC, the African National Congress, which has dominated for so long.
Right. He makes a pretty bold claim here.
Which is?
That the EFF has achieved our mission in our lifetime, which was to bring the ANC below 50%.
Which, of course, just happened in the recent elections. A huge shift.
Yeah. He adds, we're eating piece by piece. But he also says about their own results, the result, we accept the result, we accept the defeat.
Acknowledging their own performance.
So what does this all mean for South African politics going forward? That's the big question. He mentions the uncertainty, too.
Yeah, saying he can't congratulate anyone for being elected president because there's no president now. Referring to those ongoing government formation talks. And this leads to maybe the most surprising part, potentially, a pragmatic turn.
About working with the ANC.
Exactly. He says they're willing to work with the ANC. He states, if there is any party that we can work with and work properly, is the ANC, because when compromised, is not arrogant.
Wow. That's quite a statement, given their history as rivals.
It really is. It suggests maybe a strategic shift, an openness to alliances in this new coalition era.
So we've covered a lot here. A really passionate, complex speech from Julius Malema.
Yeah, digging into that vision of a united, borderless Africa.
The broad international solidarity agenda.
And that nuanced but very intensely framed domestic strategy.
We've seen how he uses that powerful, sometimes contrasting rhetoric to get his message across and fire up his supporters.
Definitely. So when you consider that fervent desire for African self-determination side by side with those specific calls to action, peaceful campaigning, but also the language of war.
Yeah.
How do you think a message like that, so comprehensive, but also with these internal tensions, resonates with different people, both in South Africa and maybe across the continent as they look ahead?
That's the question, isn't it? What stands out most to you thinking about all this? What's the most impactful takeaway from this deep dive?